Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Things That Matter with me, Martie McNabb. If you've been following along for a while, you know that I never tire from hearing the stories of the things that we surround ourselves with, the things we adorn ourselves with, the things that matter, the things that we inherit, and the things that we will leave behind. So in over 400 in-person and virtual story sharing gatherings called Show and Tales, I have been fascinated with these stories. So, without further ado, I want to introduce today's guest. And this is John Davey. And you may have been familiar with the last name because I ended up interviewing his wife, Melissa Davey, who is a filmmaker. I interviewed her. I think it went live a couple of months ago, but that was all on Zoom. And then in October, I had a chance to interview her in her home in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, as part of my 1 month little road trip that I did down to Asheville, North Carolina, and back up to Vermont. And when I did that, I got a chance to meet Melissa's husband, John. And what I found so fascinating about this was that Melissa, as you know, one of her the main thing that matters to her is a 100-year-old rug. And I got a chance in October to actually walk on this rug. Before it was just on a screen that she projected. And what I found so wonderful is and delightful is that John ended up also having a rug, and he proceeded to bring up a rug that his sister will learn more about it, and telling me the story of this rug too. And I was like, John, will you please, please, please be on my podcast and share the story of this wonderful, this delightful little rug, a lot smaller than Melissa's rug, but equally filled with stories. So, anyway, without further ado, welcome my guest, John Davey, and I'm going to let you take it away and show your rug.
All right, Marty. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me. My rug is neither as old or as large as Melissa's, but it means a lot to me. And I'll show it to everybody first, but it's going to be a little awkward talking about it if I'm trying to hold it. And so I'll show it to everybody, but I have a photo that I can share so that everybody can see it as I explain the story behind it. So this is the rug. Hopefully I can fit it all. Yeah, here we go. I can fit it all in here. You can see kind of a beachy vacation scene with a cat. Um, this is something that came to me by surprise. It was a few years ago. My one of my sisters was here for Christmas, and she gave me this present. I opened it up and I was so surprised. It's a little hooked rug. It's you can tell it's about 24 by 16. I didn't know she was making rugs, so that was a surprise right off the bat. Um, and as soon as I saw it, I could tell it documented a story from our family when we were kids. And so what I'm talking about, it dates back, the story itself dates back like a good 65 years, even though the rug is like maybe 5 years old. Um, it's it's just something that's been with our family, and we've laughed about it ever since. And I'll bring up a photo of it here if I can share the screen, um, make it a little bit easier to talk about it. Yeah. And you can probably see here there's a title to this image, Stripes Hooked Rug. Here's the story. Back in our childhood, we grew up in Rhode Island. We used to go on vacation occasionally to Martha's Vineyard Island off of Cape Cod in Massachusetts. My mother had a connection to Martha's Vineyard during World War II. She worked there actually for the Army engineers. They were testing underwater piping for petroleum. The idea was that after D-Day, they were going to lay some lines under the English Channel to supply fuel to the troops. And the uh, area off of the south of Martha's Vineyard had a lot of cross currents. It was a good replication of what they might expect on the English Channel. It never really worked out, but they tested them there. So my mother was on Martha's Vineyard during World War II. And afterwards, when we were kids, they decided to go on vacation. So we went on vacation there a few times. And this view here documents one of those vacations. You can see here, and I really love the way my sister did this. Here's the ferry, of course. We would take the ferry from either Woods Hole or back then you could even take it from New Bedford in Massachusetts, and we'd come over to either Vineyard Haven or Oak Bluffs. You can see back here, there's a sailboat. Notice how the sailboat is heeling. I mean, that's a nice detail. A true artist, I think, did this. Um, and we would stay in a kind of this salt box house that was painted green. And so, of course, for us, I'm about 8 or 9 years old. My sisters are younger. That became the little green house. So whenever we talk about the little green house, that's it. Uh, and at the time, we had a cat here, and you see the name Stripes. I'm embarrassed to say that I gave her that name. She was a striped kitty, of course, and I wasn't too creative. So Stripes came along with us um, to the little greenhouse, and this is actually on the right. There was a big oak tree. This is historically accurate. I mean, we were not on the beach. This is a compressed scene, but there was this big oak tree, and I can remember one time hearing a lot of racket out there, and I went out and poor little Stripes was up in the tree and cowering because she's being dive bombed by a bunch of blue jays. And she just couldn't move until they left her. Um, but the real story is right here in the middle. Uh, this is a blueberry muffin. And what happened was that one time my mother got a bunch of blueberry muffins for breakfast. We had a few, there were a few left over. So she put the leftovers in a bowl and put them on a table. We went out for the day, the beach or something else, driving around. And when we came back, we noticed every blueberry muffin had a bite taken out of it. The muffins were not eaten. It was just each one had a bite taken out. Stripes had gone around and taken a bite out of each individual blueberry muffin and basically ruined them. But who could get mad? I mean, it was just we thought it was the funniest thing. And it's one of those stories that just keeps getting repeated over and over. All we have to do is talk about Stripes and the blueberry muffins, and we know what the story is. So it's a recent vintage rug, but it captures a history of our family that goes back when we were kids. And it really was, um, I thought it was a terrific gift. I really appreciated it. And I thought it was very thoughtful and very clever, uh, and just a lot of fun. Uh, and there's a second part to this story. When I got it on Christmas, I looked at it and I said, this is perfect for putting right in front of our fireplace. It's the perfect size. Just put it there on the floor in front of the fireplace. So I put it there, and Marty, I swear this is the way it happened. I put it down, I turned around, I turned back, and our current kitty was there. And her name, and I'm getting a little more creative in my adulthood. Her name is Kitty. But she immediately grabbed this rug as her own. and it's been hers ever since. It's a perfect size for her. She lays right out and warms up there. Sometimes if the fire is too hot, I have to turn it down, or I will pull the rug out a little so it's not so close to the fire and make it a little more comfortable. But it to me it's a second part of an intergenerational activity, if you will. It passes from one kitty to another, and so it just makes it. Uh, it just takes a story that we always laughed about, we continue to laugh about, and it just continues, makes it funnier again, and starts all over again. So this is Kitty's rug now. It's Stripes is passing it on to her, a new generation of cats enjoying um, this funny story from back in our early days. Uh, so it's a keepsake in the sense that all of our family can appreciate it and appreciate retelling this funny story. Um, and obviously, 65 years later or so, we're still laughing about it, and it still means a lot to us. And I think it's not so much funny as it is something from our childhood that we keep going and keep alive. So this rug does it, and I really I enjoyed it so much. I thought it was so creative and so thoughtful of my sister. I didn't even know she was doing rugs. I was so surprised, but I really do appreciate it. It's something that means a lot to me. Um, it's hard to know if it's going to mean a lot to any other people outside of our family. I mean, certainly as um, a nice little rug, if you need a nice little rug in front of your fireplace, it does the job. It's good for that. Um, but it's not really a keepsake unless you can recognize the story and repeat the story. Now, my sister did help that process along on the back, and it's too small really to show, but she sewed in a little sign that says Stripes, who ate the blueberry muffins at the little greenhouse on Martha's Vineyard. And that's all we need to hear because we can remember that story right off the bat. So it's the importance is not the rug itself, it's the memories and the experience we had as children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That is wonderful, John. And if you take us off of the share, I can come back and awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so, no, I think that it's delightful, and I love your little tongue in cheek, about going from naming a cat Stripes to naming a cat Kitty, and 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 I met Kitty, and Kitty's not particularly a friendly cat, and but what I find so fascinating is both yours and Melissa's rug story also includes her. So,
That's right. That's right.
right?
Because she kind of took over a part of that rug as well. Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there was this, there she went to a certain spot on that rug and kind of claimed it. Like what was there, Melissa's not sure, but she has a way of claiming both of your rugs and your hearts. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
great.
She is the princess of the house, and you're right. For uh, people visiting, she's not always the friendliest cat. Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of glared at me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well,
But
at least she didn't hiss.
yeah, no,
But
she did.
so yeah. So you see her in a photo in front of the fireplace on the stripes rug. And you think, oh, how charming. But yeah,
Exactly.
there's always a story behind the picture.
Oh, but that's great. And of course, I shared with you that I have some history with Martha's Vineyard as well, and so know about those that ferry and been on it many times over the last like 30 plus years. And I didn't notice until you showed it this time about the hydrangeas, and I think that's the thing that really took my breath away when I first was introduced to Martha's Vineyard. The hydrangeas are just the blue, mostly blue on the vineyard. As you know, I know it's based on acid and base, of the soil, but I don't think I'd ever seen blue hydrangeas like everywhere, and that was very typical of that of
Yeah,
my experience of Martha's Vineyard too. So
yeah.
your sister did a phenomenal. I mean, talk about a storytelling rug. Like I don't think I've ever seen a rug with so many details that had so many, such a uh, well made story rug. Like I wonder if there is such a thing. Like I've got to go search on Google and say are story rugs. Like are there story rugs? Because
Yeah, yeah,
she did. I mean, she put every little detail in it. It was amazing.
yeah. And you're right. The hydrangeas, that was a nice touch as well. Um, yeah, it's not the sort of thing that's going to attract buyers on Etsy,
No,
but the value is with us and with
absolutely.
our history.
It's not the things that matter, it's the stories that get attached to these things
Sure,
that matter.
sure,
And
sure.
and I had one, as you know, I have one follow-up question which speaks to this. And it's like, so this is not like you had mentioned, it's not like it has great monetary value. And so um, have you considered what you'd like to have happen with this thing that matters to you when you're dead and gone?
Marty, the the value of it is really to people who are there. I mean, if you just try to picture coming home and there's a bite out of each blueberry muffin in a bowl. I mean, my mother couldn't get mad, you know. So I would, but I think it could stay in our family members, even people who weren't there, who just might want to have a connection with me or with my family, my sisters, and remember that we, has had fun in our lives and maybe had a little bit of a goofy sense of humor. Um, and as long as they can remember the story of the rug and maybe that tag on the back will help,
Yeah.
I think they can appreciate it. And if nothing else, as long as they have a cat, they can put it in front of their fireplace. And I'm in a family of cat people, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping to stay in the family and somebody who can um, tell the story. And I expect that they will tell the story with kind of a chuckle at how silly maybe the family was back in the day. And that's fine because that's what it's all about. It's just
Yeah.
goofy and funny and um,
Connections,
yes,
family.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I love it. And one of the things I was thinking is as I, you know, go out and do different work in the world, different workshops and things, and getting people to think like, how can you keep a thing without keeping the thing? Because we've got so many things, and then we inherit a bunch of things. So how can you do this? And so I was just thinking, maybe in this case, I could figure out how to get like your sister did with the little label that had the information. I'm wondering if we could get a QR code on a piece of fabric, and so that on the rug itself, and then be able to anybody can use the QR code to come to this story and hear you tell the story of this rug.
Well, that's a clever idea, and it would work. Yes,
Maybe.
yeah,
maybe we could figure that out,
That would be great. So
yeah,
if this rug ended up in hands of people who said, "What on earth is this all about?"
yeah,
Um, you get the QR code and
they
go
can
right to it. Yeah,
exactly.
that's
So
a great idea. I like
yeah.
it. I
Good,
like
good. Well, I'm going to pursue it and we can see if we can add that. So that would be great. So as
great.
you as you know, and we spoke about before we jumped on here, a lot of the people who come to my podcast are artists or creatives or filmmakers like your lovely wife. And so, needless to say, they have things that they need to promote and want people to know about and all of that. But as I've also told you, I love having people just come because we all have our own personal museums. We all have things that matter that we hold on to, that we keep from people who've passed away, that we have traveled the world and we have a souvenir. Like we all have this. So it's not just people who are promoting something, but I did want to leave you a little bit of time. I know you're taking up photography after your retirement and stuff, but you're like just doing it for your own pleasure, which isn't that wonderful after a retirement. Is just doing things for your own pleasure. But I did want to give you some time if you wanted to share anything with my lookers and listeners, and I'm going to give you the stage again and take it away.
Well, thanks, Marty. Actually, when I think about it, if there's anyone who is the artist in our family, it's my sister Chris who did that rug. So I don't know if she has anything that I could promote at this point. But as you mentioned, I'm trying to pick up some photography. I think I'm getting a little better at it, but I don't have anything to share right now. I'm working on an Instagram account. I only have a couple of photos up there. I have a lot more to go through, and so maybe next time around I'll have something, but. For this is just fun. I love sharing this story because um, it's unique. It's as silly as it might be. It's unique, and it means a lot to me. And this rug for my sister meant a lot to me. So I'm happy to share just that, and that's good enough for me. Thanks for the opportunity, though. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes, like I said, I this is what I wanted. I want more people that, aren't trying, don't have a book or a course or whatever, which is wonderful. I mean, we all are doing or a film. We're all doing creative work and it deserves to get promoted and people to find out about it. That's how it works. But I also love having, people who are, just like to share stories of things that matter. So I appreciate your willingness to do that. I know you had a busy fall, and hopefully the spring will be a little bit, the winter and spring will be a little bit less busy, because I know your schedule was crazy in the fall. So anyway, I thank you so much for joining me, John, and sharing the story of that lovely family heirloom rug. Um, and thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Things That Matter with Martie McNabb. And I encourage you, as we've been talking, to look around your space, look around your home, your personal museum, and think about the things that you surround yourself with, the things you keep, the things that matter to you, and the things that you'll leave behind. And the most important thing, as John just said as well beautifully, is it's not so much that things matter, it's the stories that do, but often we don't share them. So take this opportunity to share your stories and ask other people. Like we go into people's homes, we're even on Zoom, we see people's homes. Ask people like, hey, what's the story of that thing behind you? Or why do you have that up on the mantle? Or what's I keep on seeing this beautiful glass vase, every time I walk in, but I don't know the story. Be curious, ask others about their lives through these things that matter. And I hope you learn a lot about yourself and your loved ones. So thanks again, John, for joining me.
You're welcome.
Have a great rest of your day, everyone.